Shamia, and we about to get into reunion 1 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16. But before we get into it, baby, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and come on over here and kick it with your girl. So we starting the reunion out with the ladies. You know, they're arriving and they're about to get ready. Shamia is skipping. All the newbies are excited. Portia is in their sleep. Phaedra is getting makeup done. She's looking for everybody. She go to Britt's room. Britt is nowhere to be found. So then she go to Portia. It's like, okay, now Portia, you gotta get up. Shamia is on the phone with her mother, and she's talking about she can take the heat that the ladies put on her. Shamia. So then they show Kelly. Kelly's talking about how everything is custom. And of course they show Angela. And so, like I said, the newbies are all together, and Portia, Phaedra, and Cynthia are together. So after they wake up, Portia talked about how she took magnesium, and Phaedra's like, magnesium, girl, that's gonna make you sleepy and make you go to the restroom. And Portia's like, oh my God, is that what happened to me? So Phaedra tell them that, you know, Britt is not in her room. Britt is not there. So Portia calls Britt, and baby Britt sends Portia to voicemail. And so Portia's asking the producer, like, ain't nobody heard from Britt? And the producer is like, no, we haven't heard from Britt. And Portia like, y'all for real? And they like, we for real, child. Baby, Britt said, fuck it. Then, after that, they show Drew arriving, and we know Drew gonna do Drew. She gonna be late. Andy arrives on set at 11:30, but the ladies, you know, they haven't came out yet. The ladies finally start coming out. Kelly comes out, and so while the ladies are coming out, well, as I explain the ladies coming out, I'm going to talk about their dresses because I didn't do a reaction video to their dresses or anything. So Kelly comes out first, and I think Kelly dress, it's not bad, but I feel like for Kelly's body type, because Kelly is short, I feel like the dress that she's wearing would look better on someone who's taller. So her dress didn't really do it for me. And then after Kelly comes out, Angela comes out, and Angela looks good. Angela, we know Angela has a nice body. You can tell she's fit. You can tell she works out. She looks really good. Her dress is just really simple, but it's simple and cute. Then comes Shamia. And Shamia actually looks pretty good. I actually like Shamia's dress. Like, Shamia, her dress was cute. And then you already know my girl P. Willie, Player P. She comes out, and we know Player P gonna get a girl to look. She's Portia's look has always been top tier for the reunions. If y'all go back and look over the reunions, Portia always looked good. So it wasn't, I knew Portia would most likely kill this look. Then Phaedra. And Phaedra coming out. Portia talking about, okay, warrior princess. We know everybody has been talking about Phaedra's look. I did not like Phaedra's look. I think the problem with Phaedra's look was it was too much going on. Like, she got on the headpiece. She have on these big earrings. I think she did too much. Like, the dress would have been okay without all the extra accessories. But with adding all the accessories in the headpiece, it just didn't do it for me. Drew finally comes out. Like I said, we know Drew is going to be late. And maybe this is why Drew is at the end of the couch, because they know she's going to be late, because she seems to always be late. Or maybe they don't like Drew. I don't know. Because as we get into it, I just felt like Drew should have been in Shamia's spot. But we'll get into that. Drew dress, I did not like Drew dress. I did not like Drew hair. Drew is so pretty, and she's such a beautiful lady. But this hair just didn't do it for me. And this dress with these feathers didn't do it for me as well. I just did not like Drew. I feel like Drew dress wasn't just too bad. It may have been okay for a different occasion. But for this occasion and for the reunion, she should have came harder than that. Cynthia hasn't came out yet, but since we're talking about the dresses, we're gonna talk about Cynthia. Cynthia looked good. She played it safe. I mean, she's like, she probably was like, I'm not main character. I'm playing the friend of the show, so I'ma just go simple. But she looked good. We do know Cynthia's gonna come out sooner because Britt wasn't there. Speaking of Britt, yesterday she revealed her reunion look that she would have wore if she did attend the reunion. And I gotta say, I gotta give it to Britt. Britt looked good. Her dress looked good, but I didn't expect anything different as far as Britt in that fashion department. She looked really good. My favorite looks out of the lady. Okay, so if Britt, Portia, and Shamia. So I think I gotta go with my girl P Willie. Her dress was everything. I liked it. That was my favorite look. And then after Portia would have been Britt if she was there, but since Britt wasn't there, we're gonna give that spot to Shamia, and Britt would have been a strong 3. So yeah, that's my opinion on the looks. So as Portia comes out, baby, if looks could kill, baby, Shamia, baby, her face told it all. So Andy whacked all the ladies, and you know he's whacking them in Portia back because she's been gone, and Portia's like, you know, she got her new breasts and they are back home with them, basically where she belongs on the Housewives. Then, you know, he talks to Phaedra, he reckons her back, asks if she has any PTSD, because we know the last time Phaedra was here is when all the stuff went down with Candy. And then he welcomed each newbie. He asked Shamia, you know, how does she feel? And she's like, it feels good to come out with everybody else, which is crazy to me because I'm like, I get her feeling good to come out with everybody else, but I'm like, Shamia, why are you so nervous and stuff? Because it's not like this is your first rodeo. Of course, you wasn't full time last time, but you should be, you should know how this go. And, he welcomes each other ladies. Kelly pulls a crystal out of her breast. Just, doing the most. Andy let the ladies know that Britt will not be joining them, and they are like shocked. Well, the newbies are shocked. And, he asked Kelly, how did she feel about that? Kelly is like, she caused so much destruction and stuff in the friend group. Basically, she's disappointed that Britt didn't come. Phaedra say that they're a sisterhood. She wished that Britt would have reached out to her or one of them. Andy asks, has anyone talked to her? Portia do let Andy know that she had spoken to Britt the night before. And Britt basically, she never said anything about her not attending. She was like, we only talked about, the men coming and, if they will be showing up and them speaking. And, Andy asked her, well, did she say Mike was coming? And she's like, yeah, that's why I was, shocked that she's not here. I thought that maybe she was just late. Shamia chimed in and basically says that she wished Britt was there because Britt has lied on her and she was basically ready to confront her about the lies. And Andy does ask Drew. Drew lets us know, and she let the ladies know, that Britt has actually said that she's suing her. So Britt sent her a text saying that she will be hearing from her lawyer. I don't know if y'all pay attention to social media, but it did come out that Drew had supposedly gave Kenya some pictures, which I think she did say it on the show about how she knew the guy that was in the pictures or something. And so Britt said that she was suing Drew. She sent Drew a text, but Drew said that she haven't heard anything back. She haven't heard from her lawyer. So that's pretty much that. I really do wish Britt would have come to the reunion because we know we didn't gave Britt hell for, basically the whole season. But towards the end, I can't lie, I was starting to like, okay, Britt might can hang with the girls, because initially I was like, Britt she can't hang with the girls because she get too caught up and she go into defense mode, and when instead of using her words, she react like violently, like she goes to a different level instead of just going back and forth with them. But then when she was going back and forth with Kelly and Shamia, she was getting them together. So I was looking forward to Britt coming to the reunion and getting them together. I'm like, okay, maybe Britt, maybe she was just misunderstood. Okay, I'm open to giving her a chance, to see what it is, because we know low key that Kelly was low key kind of jealous of Britt. So I was like, okay, let's see what Britt has got to give. But then she dropped this bombshell. She don't come to the reunion, and she's suing everybody, child. So yeah, we won't see Britt no more. It was cool while it lasted. Andy asked, do anyone want to set any intentions? And Portia, she says she does. Basically, she's like, she's back to Portia P, and she's feeling like herself. And, she just basically want to clear the air with each lady. And if they're going to move forward, they're going to move forward. If they don't, they don't. And Shamia is kind of looking like, looking all crazy. They go ahead and bring Cynthia out. And Cynthia, like I said before, her dress is simple, but yet it's not bad. She comes out, and basically they're like the best friend of the show, which I thought Cynthia was good in the friend role. Like, I never really had any issues with Cynthia. Sometimes I did used to feel like Cynthia, you could be a pushover sometimes, but for the most part, I like Cynthia. We know Cynthia was that girl in her modeling days, so yeah, I like Cynthia. Andy asked her, how did she feel being a friend of the show? And she was like, she loved the role. She was basically able to communicate with everyone and relate to everyone. Basically, they labeled Cynthia as the glue, even though we know Shamia labeled herself as the glue at the top of the season. And so, Cynthia's like, she liked it because she was able to basically, she wasn't tied down. She can pop in, pop out, and enjoy herself that way. And they asked about her man, which her man name is Lil Prince, and we learned that he is 39 years old. And basically Cynthia is she's loving her little man. He probably blowing her back out. They talk about favorite men, and he's 32. And I don't like Phaedra basically said that ain't her man. He probably blowing her back out too. And Portia talking about, dude, they got a nephew. Leave it up to Portia. So Andy's talking to Portia, and he basically brings up that this season was supposed to be Portia's happily ever after. We know Portia was supposed to come back, living this grand life with Simon, but unfortunately, she's going through a divorce. And so, Portia was like, that's not what she, really had in mind. Of course, we knew Simon was on the internet being a tyrant and basically wasn't letting off Portia's neck. He blocked her from filming in the house, and she was like, that was what basically weighing heavy on her. Andy asked her why, she was so adamant about getting the house, and basically she says because, that they had worked for 9 months on this prenup, and that he did purchase the house before they got married, but it became premarital property. I mean, it became marital property once they got married. So she had those stipulations in the prenup because she's like, that's something that she wanted. And y'all can say what y'all want about Portia, but at the end of the day, Simon is not a saint. Like, he's online trying to act like he didn't know what it was with Portia. Like, Simon, nobody is checking for you for real. Like, we didn't know who Simon was for real until he got with Portia, because even if Portia never would have talked to Simon from him being on there with Fallon for that little short time, we wouldn't have remembered Simon. And so I think they got married. It was something, Portia seen his money. And hey, like with a lot of women, y'all are saying, oh, Portia's a gold digger, Portia's a gold digger, Portia's a gold digger. At the end of the day, Simon knew what it was. Like, most of the women that have been with Simon was after his money. Let's be very clear. Even Fallon. Fallon is a very beautiful woman. I don't think she was knocking down on Simon's door to get with him because he's Simon. No, they seen his money. And let's be clear, Simon led with his money. And that's how it always is. You see a man who's not the good, best looking man, and if he got a coin, he's gonna lead with a coin because he know that she's a beautiful woman. And another thing, let's not act like Portia didn't have her own money. She may not have as much money as Simon, but it's not like she was just broke. And then it's not like she was used to messing with men who were broke. We know she was married to Cordell, who is in the NFL. We also know that Dennis, her child's father, does pretty well for himself. So, like, come on. And even after Simon, I'm pretty sure Portia will find another man with a coin. And I'm not mad at it. Like, at the end of the day, Simon agreed to this prenup that took 9 months to do. The thing is, he just didn't think Portia was smart enough to get him before he got her. That's it. That's all. So, but yeah, basically, she's like, I thought it was gonna be this, that it wouldn't. He did ask her, was Shamia and was Gerald and Simon cool? And so Portia did, she said that, they were cool, but that Shamia and Gerald basically did try to warn her. And Shamia said that, she wanted to know, basically, she asked Portia, did she look into to see was his money really real about all the scamming allegations and stuff against him. And we know Portia she ignored it because she went on and married him. They also asked Portia, did she call ICE on Simon? And Portia said she did not call ICE on Simon because it wouldn't benefit her for him to be in ICE. And honestly, me personally, I don't think Portia called ICE on Simon because how would that benefit her? Now, if it's a situation where she just knew he was going to be detained, then possibly. But with him being detained and him possibly getting sent back to Nigeria, how would that help her in her case of getting divorced from him, basically? And she says that, and she's basically like, Kelly, her divorce kind of went like Kelly's when Kelly went to divorce her husband that first time and she didn't get divorced. And Kelly and Drew is like, who she talking about? Drew like, who she talking about you? Drew, we know she not talking about you because you and Raph are still currently married and he's still in the basement. So who else is she talking about? And Kelly is like, our divorce is not the same. Okay, Kelly girl. Andy asked Kelly, why did she ask Portia about, her when she met Portia, asking her, why did you take that woman's husband? Andy asked why did she ask that question? Did she ask out of concern or to be shady? And in true Kelly fashion, she said she asked out of concern. Like, this is the problem I have with Kelly in her sidekick Shamia. They are weak. Like, they are weak. They do stuff and then they hide their hand. Like, stand on it. She could have said, yeah, I asked to be shady and I asked to be messy because I wanted to know why you took that lady husband like everybody else. That's what she could have said. But they talk all they feed off of each other, but standing on their own, they can't do it on their own. So we know she's gonna say she asked out of concern, and Portia was like, "Girl, no, you didn't." And she like, I did, and I got my. And Portia was like, "Well, did you get your answer?" She like, "I got my answer. You really loved him." Like, Kelly, this is what I be talking about. That's weak bitch energy. Like, and I'm not calling her a bitch. I'm just saying figuratively. That's weak bitch energy. Like, just stand on it. Like, yeah, I asked. Yeah, girl, I did. And so we all know Kelly asked Portia that to be shady. And because Kelly was looking for a moment, Portia dismissed her moment. And, Portia is basically like, we both left our divorce for financial reasons, and she's like, we had an adult conversation, a woman-to-woman conversation about our divorce and how we was basically going through the same thing as far as we're dealing with men who are being shady, malicious, and coming for us online, putting our business out there online, basically taunting us. And here go Kelly. Oh no, our divorces is not the same. I was married for 11 years. You was married for 11 months. And I know everybody is like, Kelly ate Portia up. Kelly ate Portia up. And while the sentiment kind of ate, it really didn't land for me because Portia wasn't saying that our marriage was the same. Portia was saying that your husband was on your ass and taking you through it, and Simon, my husband, was on my ass and taking us through it as we're both getting a divorce. So that's why I was like, I don't know, Kelly girl, that wasn't a read. That, to me, that wasn't a read that everybody's trying to make it seem, because it's not what I can see. If Portia was saying, oh, we know Portia gonna act like she hurt, but if Portia was like, he just took me through so much and he did this and he did that, and if she would have compared it in that way, then I could see it different. Of course, we know their divorce is not the same because Kelly has children with this man. Kelly was with this man for 11 years. Looking at this man, Kelly most likely really, really loved this man. We know Portia, she got in her divorce with Simon for whatever the reason, Lord, whether it was financially or whatever. We know they was both on each other for a different game, because let's be clear, Portia did upgrade Simon. But neither here or there, I feel like Kelly knew the question that she asked her, but she was looking for a moment, and I'm glad Portia kind of like skimmed over it. Like, okay, Kelly girl, because she wanted a moment so bad. Andy asked Portia about the situation with her saying that she would mess with Charles, and basically, Angela, she chimed in and Portia agrees. Portia apologizes again, which we know Portia shouldn't have said that, especially with everybody on your neck about the shit with Simon and Fallon. It is what it is. It happened. So, Angela was like, Shamia introduced Portia to Simon, which I don't give a damn. I mean, me personally, I don't care, because now, do I think Shamia is lying? Yes, because I remember when Simon and Portia got together, I seen that it was a Instagram post, and I think Shamia said it on some show, a radio show. I don't know. I cannot remember exactly, but she did say it. Shamia said it. Y'all know how Shamia do when she excited and she want to be a part of something. She said it. But Portia said, that Shamia didn't introduce them. She kind of paused to basically, she lying. Portia was lying. And she was just basically like, you know what? Angela was adamant that she said it. They ran the tape back. The tape that they did run back, Shamia didn't say it. She didn't say it. She just said she was there. But in real time, when they were getting married and they was doing the Portia and Simon was doing their thing, Shamia did say it. I remember it. I wish I had the receipts, but she definitely said it. She said it in a Instagram post, and she said it in, I think it's a radio show. I'm gonna see if I can find it, but she said it. But it's neither here nor there. Portia's like, let me take the heat. I got him. She was like, we met. I got him. It didn't work out, and I gave his ass back. End of story, which I can respect it. At the end of the day, it is what it is. These people are divorced. These people are two grown, consenting adults. People keep saying Portia stole Fallon, and I'm not condoning Portia messing with a married man, so please don't take my words and misconstrue them. But at the end of the day, Simon knew he was married. So Simon did what he wanted to do. And not only that, it's not like Fallon was completely clean. Like, Fallon was pregnant by a whole nother man in Simon's house. Like, let's just be clear. Not making it right, not saying Portia's right, but I'm just like, okay, these people are divorced at this point. Are we still talking about Portia and Simon? I mean, like, yeah, we know we're going to talk about it for the show, but y'all are like... I really don't give a damn. Now, Portia was wrong as hell for saying what she said about Charles, but if Shamia did introduce them, oh well. Like, Shamia, we know, if you've been watching the show, I know y'all love to hate Portia, but Shamia is not who y'all think she is, and she is no better than what Portia did. So let's move it on. So someone wrote in and said that they are enjoying Portia and Dennis. You know, will she consider getting back with Dennis and maybe giving Pilar a sibling? And Portia's like, you know, Dennis is her jewel. And at the end of the day, I know a lot of y'all, excuse me, don't like Portia and Dennis' relationship because we know, like I say, y'all don't like Player P. Y'all don't like her. But at the end of the day, if Dennis is happy with her, they cool. They supposed to have a good relationship because they do have a child together. But if she want to spin the block with him, girl, that's your baby daddy. Do your thing. She did say, that her and Dennis are family. And basically, that's kind of why she had the problem with him filming with other people. And here you go, Kelly. Yeah, all in that man's house. And, Portia, like, what you say? She was like, all in that man's house. And so Portia was like, it's my house. And Kelly was like, oh, y'all house, And so Portia was basically had to check Kelly, which I don't blame her, because, bitch, you divorcing a man who got your ass in $100,000 worth of debt. Like, at the end of the day, you should have been trying to keep your house, because you complained on the show about how you had the downside because your ex-husband is on your neck. So it's like, baby, she want a moment out for Portia, but it's just not landing. Kelly, it's just not doing it for you, girl. It's just not landing for you. Like, all in that man house. Okay. Yep, I am all in that man house, because guess what, baby? It's my house now. Now check that. So Drew did an interview with No Chaser TV, and she's on there saying how Portia flopped. And Andy asked her, do you feel like Portia was a flop? And she's like, oh yeah, I stand on that. Which I do appreciate this side of Drew, because if y'all been watching Drew, if you've been watching, y'all know Drew has always come off as timid, like a pushover, don't really say much to the ladies in their face, and she just talk her shit in her confessional. So I am proud of Drew kind of standing her, she's standing her ground. And so she was like, she felt like Portia was a flop. Me personally, I didn't feel like Portia was a flop, just because I know what Portia can bring. Now, if this was Portia's first season and she was hyped up to be this person who was coming on and they was supposed to give us this and that, I could be like, nah, she ain't bring it. But with us knowing Portia and her being on the show, then with us seeing Simon taunting her, even though I know a lot of people are like, oh, Simon, she still didn't give this, she still didn't get it. At the end of the day, she may have felt some type of way, because let's be clear, a lot of the ladies, few of the ladies are going through divorces, right? But Portia divorce was like 100 times more. And even if it wasn't for her being in love with Simon, I think she was humiliated. And with him humiliating her online may have did fuck with her. Like, it may did put her in a mood, because every day on the blogs, Simon was in the blogs about something, and then she get the house, she can't film in the house. So I do feel like she may have been low-key going through something, and it just didn't land for her. That's why I said I give her a little grace in that aspect, because we've seen her in previous seasons, and we know that she has this fun personality, so we know what she could give and what she can give. So hopefully next season she be back on her Portia, and she says she's feeling like herself, which if you watch her YouTube channel, we see that side of her. And so basically Portia's just like, I didn't want her to film with Dennis. And this is Drew. We know Drew be full of shit too, because she talk about, I didn't film with him, the cameras catch me where they catch me. Girl, Drew, quit playing in our face. Like, they catch you where they catch you. Like, let's be clear. Y'all have call times and stuff like that. Which, just say it. Like, we filmed because we wanted to promote the music. Basically, that's what Dennis had told her. But I'm like, Drew just said, you filmed because y'all wanted to promote the music. Then Shamia chimes in, basically, and Drew is like, just go sit on her lap. Just go sit on her lap. Which, y'all, so when Portia initially asked, when she was telling Drew that she was a low down dirty individual, Shamia, this is another role that Shamia played. Shamia basically told Portia that somebody seen them out in the club and they had on matching outfits and stuff. So maybe Portia did know that Drew and Simon was working together initially, but Shamia added some stank to it and made it seem like that it was something more. Because it's like, okay, I know they working together, but what you mean they in the club with matching outfits and shit? Like, that make you think like, okay, then what the hell they got going on? Which, like I've said, I felt like this was a storyline because Portia was just going through some more stuff. She was mad because Drew filmed with Dennis, and so she just was like, okay, since you want to play in my face, I'm about to play in yours. Let's sit this out. Angela chimes in, and basically it's like, Shamia asked that question basically about her effing Dennis. And excuse me, Shamia is denying it, saying, that Portia wanted her to ask this question, but Portia said, no, I didn't want you to ask that question. I wanted you to keep it at the filming. I wanted to talk about the filming. Basically, Shamia saying that the filming stuff hadn't happened yet, but Portia said it was a rumor going around that they were filming together. And Angela basically backed Portia up and was like, Shamia did ask that, but Shamia is like, no, I didn't. And Portia's like, you trying to say I'm lying, but you are the one lying. Which we know Shamia be lying. They both be lying. But at this point, I do believe Shamia asked Drew, was she messing with Dennis because she wanted to get the drama going. Like, she wanted to know. And at the end of the day, we all know Shamia do not like Drew. Like, Shamia don't like Drew. She can act like she do with all this and that, but she does not. Shamia is very jealous of Drew. And if y'all can't see it, I definitely can see it. I feel like Drew has the career and stuff that Shamia desperately wants. And that's why she is always going at Drew. So basically, Andy's just like, let's move on, because Portia's like, Shamia is lying. And Shamia is like, no, she's not. But Angela is basically backing Portia in what she said. So, and Angela even said that Portia didn't want it to focus on the filming. Didn't want to focus on her asking if she was messing with Dennis. And Cynthia kind of chimed in and was like, yeah, Portia was like, she could speak for herself. So I'm like, Shamia, girl, it ain't looking too good for you. Like, you are the lapdog that they say you are, because what was your purpose? And then they did ask Portia about that text. And of course, Portia doesn't have the text. And she's like, well, she said, Dennis said that if, what did she say? She said that if in the text, the text basically read like, I'm not trying to fuck you, but I gotta have this money or something with the studio time. But Portia, come on now, girl. You know, I'm saying I'm not trying to fuck you. Me, I got out of that was him saying I'm not trying to mess over you. It's like, damn, I ain't trying to fuck you. Like, this is what's going on. That's the way I feel like the text read. Drew did shade Portia, like Simon says, you have no storyline. Which, Portia didn't at the time. Drew became her storyline. It is what it is. Someone wrote in and Andy asked the question that now that she see that Drew and Dennis working together was innocent, do she feel like she owed Drew an apology? And Portia, she basically says she does. Before she apologized, she do kind of get on Drew about her going basically trying to diminish her Go Naked brand. And Drew stood her ground. Like I've been saying, I am proud of Drew. Drew was like, you can dish it, and when I give it back to you, you can't be mad, which you really can't be mad. But Portia, she said, she filmed with Ralph to be petty, which we all knew the reason she filmed with Ralph. And I think when Portia did go film with Ralph, though, Drew did kind of feel away, which I think she kind of felt how Portia may have felt, even though she was strictly business with Dennis. Now, Portia basically was like her music was good. Andy asked her about the comment of her saying damn good music. I believe she wrote that on Instagram under Drew's post. And Portia was like, basically from what I said earlier, that she was like she would never diminish her brand, how Drew tried to diminish her Go Naked brand. And Drew said what she said back. And so Portia, and then walks over to Drew and she gives her a hug. I know a lot of people say that they don't believe it was genuine. I don't know if it was genuine or not. I do feel like Portia did feel away though. I feel like because her and Drew really were cool, and Portia did help Drew out a lot. Like if y'all watched from when Drew came on and the way the other ladies did do Drew, Portia really did stand in with Drew, and then she did put her as a brand ambassador for Go Naked and help her get her looks together. And hopefully she can get back with Go Naked, because this wig that Drew got on, I'm not liking. But Portia, she goes over and, she's basically like, she was mad at the time. Every time she seen Drew, she was triggered and she was gunning for her. And I think this stemmed from her being humiliated online by Simon. Then the stuff with Dennis, like Dennis was her backup plan, and it's like now my backup plan, you're cutting into that. And so now I'm just mad, and I think that's what it was, that frustration. And Drew actually accepts her apology, and Drew actually admits that when she did come on the show and everybody was being mean to her, she looked to Portia, and Portia did help her out, which I thought that was big of both of them to admit that. Portia was like she filmed with Raph to be petty. Shamia kind of looked, I pay attention to their faces, and Shamia, I don't think she really like that. She wasn't expecting Portia to make amends with Drew, but I think this is a step in the right direction. I know a lot of y'all say she only did it because the way people are looking at her online and how the fans was going for her, which could be true too. At the end of the day though, it is what it is. It's over and done with it. Drew album is pretty good. And she was wrong for filming with Raph, but we already knew that. And I've said it before. Drew didn't like Portia filming with Ralph. Portia didn't like Drew filming with Dennis. At the end of the day, respect each other and keep it moving. We move on to Kelly and Britt. So we know Britt is not here, so she can't say her piece. So Kelly basically said, she was a friend to Britt. Britt wasn't a friend to her. And it just went left. So Portia intends says that, Britt mentioned something about Kelly being jealous of her. Kelly says that she has no reason to be jealous of Britt. Britt basically wanted her whole team. She's been having a team because she got it like that, apparently. She's like, she's been having a team, and Britt didn't have those things. And Britt wanted her whole team. So Andy asked Kelly when she was using her team, was Kelly fitting the bill for Britt, or was Britt paying for herself? And Kelly admits that Britt was paying when she used the team. Britt was paying for herself out of pocket. Me personally, I do believe Kelly is jealous of Britt. She's saying, what do she have to be jealous of Britt for? I know a lot of y'all think money, because a person has more money than you, that they can't be jealous. And that's just not true. Like, that's just not true. And Kelly I do feel like she was jealous of Britt because Britt looked it a lot better in a lot of her outfits. Britt, she slayed. I keep saying, I'ma keep saying this. I feel like Kelly was giving her opinion to the stylist, and that's why she was looking how she was looking. I feel like Kelly is one of those people because she just seemed like she want to be in control of certain stuff, and she's one of those people who basically she likes something, and even though it may not be flattering for her, she's still gonna do it. And I feel like that's why Britt used to look better. So Portia Intense says, that Britt basically told her that there was an alliance, that Kelly, Shamia, and Britt had an alliance to basically take Portia down. So Shamia says that Portia was a part of the alliance. Portia's like, what? Me part of the alliance? Absolutely not. Andy is even like, so did Portia know she was part of the alliance? Shamia is like, yes. Shamia face when Portia brought up the alliance though, Shamia was like, she was looking like, oh no, she didn't go there. But me personally, I don't think Portia was part of the alliance. I'm gonna tell y'all why I don't believe she was part of the alliance. I know y'all don't like Portia and y'all be thinking everything Portia do is like she lying and stuff about it. But in this particular moment, I don't believe she was part of the alliance because let's be clear. Whether y'all felt like Portia flopped this season or not, Portia been on Housewives. She already has a name for herself. She's been doing her thing. Why would she need to have an alliance with Shamia, Kelly, and Britt? Like, her name is gonna speak for herself regardless. Even though it's people that don't like Portia, it's a lot of people that like Portia. So why would she need Kelly, Shamia, and Britt to shine on a TV show? Like, let's be for real here. Me personally, and my theory with this alliance situation is that Shamia, Kelly, and Britt had an alliance. This is why Shamia was gun-ho on bringing up old stuff. She was bringing up old shit about her and Portia that they had already worked through, but she was bringing it up to everybody else. Because why are we on a show talking about a wedding that happened 10 plus years ago? Do that make sense? Not only that, Kelly, why you take that lady husband? But Portia didn't give her the reaction that she wanted. Not Kenya, Britt with Kenya. Kenya just fell for the bait. And Kenya was so mad because Britt threatened her and the network didn't do anything about it, and she took it into her own hands and went about it the wrong way. But I think that was the issue. They were all in an alliance to take somebody down. And they wanted to take Phaedra wasn't there yet. Angela said she didn't know anything about the alliance. They didn't pull Angela in it. Drew, let's be clear. Drew is not a threat for real. Like, Drew has just started speaking up for herself. So I think they felt like Drew was the weakest link. The two people that we need to take down and how we gonna get a next season and get our contracts renewed is to go for Portia and Kenya. Because Cynthia was a friend of the show, so it really wasn't why would I try to take Cynthia down? She's a friend of the show. She's not full time. Phaedra isn't there yet. The two top dogs was Kenya and Portia. Britt succeeded with the Kenya situation. And I felt like Kelly and Shamia got jealous of Britt succeeding because all the focus and attention became Britt and Kenya. And they didn't like that. Like, I do feel like that those three had an alliance. Now, is Britt on some whole shit because now they didn't kick you out the group, so now you want to spill all the tea? Yeah, because look, why you ain't been tell me, right? But at the end of the day, even if Britt was on some whole shit, I don't think she was lying. I do think those three had an alliance. And Kelly and Shamia was going for Portia, and Britt was going for Kenya. That's why Britt always had a problem with Kenya. Every little thing Kenya did, Britt had a problem with, and it was stupid shit. Like, oh, she don't want to hug me. You give a damn that much because a motherfucker don't want to hug you that you don't even know for real? Like, it all makes sense. And I said that from the beginning. That was one of my theories. I said either Britt was a super fan, or the way Kelly came at Portia, either her and Britt planned to take Portia and Kenya down. I said that, and after watching the stuff with Shamia was definitely in on it too. That's why she bringing up old shit, acting like you saw her. Oh, she didn't come to my wedding. She didn't come to my wedding. You girl, you been in this lady face and been cool with her since then. You done been to her wedding with Simon. You been out on vacation with her and Simon. Y'all been cool since then. Even with, like, y'all have been cool since then. So don't get, like, it was crazy to me that you didn't get on this show and you start bringing up all this old shit when you been cool with her this whole time. Make it make sense. They definitely had an alliance, and it did not include Portia. And I don't really think Kelly and Shamia realized that they really said that they kind of admitted to being in an alliance, as Angela saying that she didn't know anything about an allegiance. Angela, the word is alliance. Like, how you letting Portia correct you? But yeah, so Angela's like, I didn't know anything about that. And they was like, oh, you was in the alliance with Drew. We thought you was in the alliance with Drew. And she was like, no, me and Drew wasn't in the alliance. So basically, Andy asked Kelly, did she feel like she was being a friend to Britt with the situation of her saying, what about that baby? What about that baby? And she was like, she just a friend. She kind of feel bad now riding for Britt the way she did, because Britt basically did her in, and she apologized to Angela. But y'all, Kelly, I've been trying, like, Kelly is just not, if Kelly don't come back next season, it wouldn't bother me. Kelly just has gotten on my nerves. Like, she fake as fuck. Her and Shamia just two peas in a pod. See why they're friends. But the crazy thing is, I feel like Shamia and Kelly gonna get into it. If they come back on the show, mark my words, they are going to get into it. Kelly is both of them are opportunists. Shamia and Kelly are opportunists. But Kelly gonna go wherever she feel like she can, that's gonna get her endorsed. And even though we know Shamia is an opportunist too, Shamia is putting Kelly indoors that Kelly wasn't in. And it's just a matter of time before Kelly finds somebody that she feel like is better than Shamia, and she throw her to the wolves. Like, they gonna get into it. Just mark my words. But she was like, she was wrong, and for asking Angela about that baby. And I just feel like it's bullshit. Like, girl, you knew exactly what you was doing. And yeah, you were being a friend. Okay, cool. Andy touched on the abortion situation that, Britt brought up her having an abortion. But at the end of the day, Kelly, you brought up Britt popping pills. Whether you had an abortion, whether Britt popped pills, you started it. That's how I look at it. Like, I feel like a lot of times y'all be taking people's sides on who y'all like the most. And like I said, at the end of the day, bitch, don't come for me. Don't try to throw shit out on me and think I'm not fit to come for you. Like, so Kelly, you really couldn't be mad. Kelly keeps saying, my body, my choice, which is so true. I agree with that. Your body, your choice. But I feel like it's some truth in there somewhere. Kelly keeps saying where she had got her tubes tied, but getting your tubes tied, like I said before, if they not tied, clipped, and burnt, it's a possibility that you can get pregnant again, boo. And she's saying, that her stylist Paris basically allegedly gave Britt this information. She didn't have this conversation with Britt, that somebody gave her this information, and she's like, oh, now I have to talk to my kids about abortion. And so Andy asked her, well, have you had the talk yet? And she's like, not yet. Girl, I hope not, trying to be funny or nothing, but you have 4 daughters now. The youngest 2, the twins, maybe not right now. But your oldest 2 daughters, especially your oldest daughter, who is basically 17, 18 years old, it's time to have that conversation. Now, I know I can't tell nobody how to raise their kids, but you may need to have it. Andy asked Kelly, why she walk around with a bodyguard, and Portia chimed in and says that, well, we know why. The situation with her husband basically after her, and then Portia's like, we know that situation, but I've heard that it's not true and she's only doing it for the show. Now, Kelly is like, I got a restraining order on this man. Like, why would I lie about that? And so Portia's like, well, in the state of Georgia, you can get a restraining order on anybody. And Kelly is like, no, you can't. So Portia in turns asks Phaedra. And Phaedra basically says that you can get anybody can request a restraining order against somebody, but if the person that they're requesting a restraining order against don't come to court to contest it, then that restraining order will be granted. I don't know how true none of this is. I didn't look into Georgia's law, but I do know here in the state of Texas, you have to have grounds, I believe, for it. But at the end of the day, this is my thing with this situation. I never like to play with no victim's life. Like, if Kelly is truly a victim, like, because you just never know what the next woman is going through. Maybe Portia did really hear it. I didn't kind of really like her asking her that, but hey, if you heard it, I mean, you just speaking what you heard, right? At the end of the day, Kelly does say, she's over $200,000 in debt, basically behind this divorce, and that she would basically rather be spending her money on her than not spending it on Kenny, her ex-husband. If her husband did go to jail because he threatened her in court, for real, I will say that. I will say this. If he went to jail for threatening her in court, then they probably granted a restraining order, because you, like, literally don't give a damn. You threatened me in court while the judge and stuff is here. So that's neither here nor there. Andy asked Kelly, well, when is the Nana's Chicken and Waffle place opening up? That because she owed, for her Sandy Springs location that she was supposed to have been opening on the show, she has a lawsuit against her for $100,000 of unpaid rent. She says that she's paid some money, so basically not all but some, and she says that the location will be open summer. So if y'all in the A in Sandy Springs, is her waffle, is her Nana's Waffles Chicken and Waffle open? Andy and Portia is shady. They both Portia is like spring summer. Jogging spring summer when Sheree was lying. Catch it. But she's just like, she hadn't opened because she owed $200,000 in attorney fees. But Andy brought up a good point and was like, it seems like you spend money on extravagant gifts for Chloe, because of what it was, she bought Chloe like 17 or 16. How old her daughter turned? 17. Designer bags. She had this extravagant party for her dog, Cha Cha. She got Cha Cha facial massage. And so Andy is like, do you really need all these expenses, especially like towards your dog? And she's like, yeah, she's been stolen. And I said it before, I say it again. Get your dog chipped. Like, most normal people get their dog chipped. You don't have to pay for all this coloring and stuff. You want her colored, just say that. But quit bringing up the excuse of her getting stolen, because, girl. And so, Andy is like, well, instead of putting all your money into the dog, you should put it into your business. And I don't like to pocket watch nobody. At the end of the day, if you want to be a damn fool and spend your money on stuff like that when you have unpaid rent that's adding up to $100,000 effortlessly, and you're spending this type of money on a dog, then your priorities are fucked up. But if that's what you want to do with your coins, then that's your business. And then, of course, like I said, Kelly, I don't think she really got it like that. I think that she's trying to put on an act for this show. I think that she probably does well for herself, but she may be living above her means. But at the end of the day, hey, if that's your money and that's what you want to do with it, do your damn thing, Kelly girl. And they asked Kelly, do she think her and Britt would ever be friends again? And Kelly says no, which, I mean, she was honest. She did say how, that Shamia and Britt basically, I mean, Shamia came between Britt and Kelly's relationship. And Shamia is like, I wasn't trying to. I was trying to be the mediator and I caught a stray, but we all know what it really happened. Like, I think Kelly seen Britt was a liability. Britt ain't really have it for real. And then she did say Britt wasn't there for her, which we did see Kelly do a lot of stuff for Britt. Now, looking back, I want to know if she did it because she was being genuine, or if she done it to make herself look good, or, I did feel like Kelly was being genuine at first, though. Anyways, so she said that her and Britt won't be friends no more. And she's like, Portia's asking her, is it because of her divorce? And she's basically like that. And the fact that, she's done all this stuff for Britt. Like, she paid $1,000 for IV drip for her and Mike, which $1,000, girl. And this is the stuff that I'm talking about. Like, you haven't paid rent on a restaurant that's gonna make money, right? But you over here spending money on Britt and her husband. Make it make sense. And so basically she's like, they won't be friends. Britt never basically supported her. And in that aspect, we did see Kelly support Britt. I can understand Kelly feeling away. Put it like that. But Shamia did weasel her way in there too. I feel like I said before, Kelly seen Britt wasn't for real, and Shamia really had it, and she said, let me go where the money is. Let me separate myself from Britt because of the stuff that was going on with her and Kenny. I do feel like that all played a role. Drew asked, how did Britt really make her money? And Andy was like, well, the streets, it's insurance, right? And so Kelly is basically like, I don't know. She says insurance, but I don't know. I shared all my team and stuff with her to have her look successful. Basically, we don't know if Britt got it for real, which we didn't know that Britt, she don't really got it for real. Like, not like that, which is okay. Like, they are newbies. I think this thing of coming on here thinking that you have to have so much money and you're trying to live this lifestyle, it's probably the reason Kelly owes this rent, this lawsuit that she has against her. It's the reason that Britt has lawsuits against her. It's the reason that Britt is on this show acting like that she's buying a jet when we know that she's not. It's just like, y'all are trying to come in and be on the level that these other ladies are on who are vets. They've been doing it for a while. They've established certain things. And it's okay if you haven't established it. So we're ending this reunion with Angela. Angela, we seen Angela and she loves Charles, which that's her man. Love your man, girl. But I feel like Angela is one of those women who down for her man no matter what. And if you are, girl, it's your business. Like, if you gonna stay no matter what Charles do your thing. I feel like Angela, like I said in the last recap, I feel like Angela wants so hard to prove that Charles loves her and that he is doing better now in their relationship, and Charles just keep embarrassing her, just like he just embarrassed her with this whole wedding story, saying that he basically was drunk and the reason why he married her, and then she made him get on her and basically tell the real story. So Angela, we get to the Angela and the Phaedra situation, and basically Angela comes and she says that she knows Phaedra and she has receipts. So she pulls out this folder, which was a waste of all of our time. She says that she know Phaedra did it because Phaedra has a past. This is a cycle with Phaedra. And so she says that Marcus says that it was Phaedra. At first he said it was the other women. He said it was Kelly and it was somebody else, but then he said it was Phaedra. Andy says, well, if he was putting it on the other women, what makes you so sure that it was Phaedra? So she says that Phaedra, sister or brother, somebody went to school with somebody named Kim. And basically she then probably Googled Phaedra and her people, and the information then came up, and she was like, she done found somebody that, you know, they went to school together. It's Phaedra from Athens. So we know that if y'all been watching, Nene done said this many times, like how, you know, Athens is small, everybody know everybody. So because Phaedra is from Athens and this man is from Athens, his sister went to school with Phaedra brother or something like that, so it's got to be Phaedra. But it doesn't make sense. And then not only that, Marcus has been all over the internet saying how Angela is lying. Angela basically coerced him to say Phaedra's name. And then, you know, at first I was like, Phaedra did come in hot talking about Angela, but I've been seeing a lot of people saying that the confessionals are recorded after the show. So after they get to look at the show, then they record the confessionals. So maybe Phaedra was going so hard because she seen Angela didn't really like her. I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't believe this. Like I said before, I don't think Phaedra is this stupid. Like, at the end of the day, we do know Phaedra has done some stuff in the past. Is this beneath Phaedra? No. But I don't think with Phaedra just returning to the show, and especially coming into the show so late in the game, what would she gain by doing this to Angela? Not only that, her contract has already been written up. I remember her saying that because she left Married to Medicine so late and she picked up with the Housewives, that she had signed a contract for season 17 already, because she came in. We know she only filmed for 10 days. So she came in. So why would she do this? I feel like Marcus was one of those people who wanted his 15 minutes of fame, and he was going to do whatever he could to do it, to get it. Now, isn't it ironic that he was at Kelly's event? And I had thought about this because I'm like, how did Marcus get a mic? Like, I don't think you can just walk into the event and they're filming and get mic'd up unless somebody knew you had something to say. Like, so Marcus got a mic. He said what he said. It's looking like Kelly may have done this because, and Marcus said this, Kelly had, you know, kind of wanting him to be messy, but Angela took it to the next level, basically giving this man a platform. This man has literally started a whole podcast. Like, you've given this man a platform. Angela is saying that Phaedra done it because she wanted to secure her spot. Phaedra's spot is already secured, and I don't think Angela knew that. I think Angela just wants it to be something so bad to the point that she wants to prove that Charles isn't doing anything. And like I said last week, and I mean the week before in the recap, I believe Charles is still stepping out on Angela. And that's why this subject is so sensitive to her. Because this is not a Charles stepped out maybe once or twice and we've been good type situation. This is your man still stepping out, and you really don't want that to be played out for real like that on TV, so you want to try to get ahead of it and get in front of it and make everybody believe something that it's not. And Charles just keep embarrassing her. So at the end of the day, I know we was all like, Charles old and set in his ways, but like I said before, I don't give a damn about you being old, set in your ways. At some point, you need to show that you love me, and you need to be genuine with it. I shouldn't have to be like I'm pulling teeth to get you to act a certain way. So at the end of the day, I do feel like Charles is still stepping out on Angela. I feel like this whole receipt stuff that this folder that she done pulled out is a waste of all our damn time. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, if she trying to plead her case, that she got something next week. Because if this it, girl, go back to the drawing board. Like Phaedra, I don't think Phaedra did it, y'all. But yeah, that was that. That was the reunion. I thought the reunion was pretty good. Portia giving it to the ladies. Drew had her little moment. Y'all say Kelly ate with the 11 years, 11 months stuff. It was okay. It wasn't a high read for me. Yeah, that was that. Y'all don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, y'all.